Can a fish bag serve the purpose of both a fly fishing vest and a day pack? Well, I'm going to find out today on White Top Laurel Creek in Virginia. For years, I've walked into the woods with my fly fishing vest and then a day pack to carry all my other stuff. You know, once you put a fly fishing vest on, you know, there's no place in here to put water or anything else. You've got to have that in the pack. And as soon as you put it in a pack, it's all in back of you. So you got to undo everything to get the pack off to get at anything you want in this. And one of the things I always want to look at is my GPS. And that ends up being connected back here to my backpack. My spot messenger, my safety personal beacon, it ends up being here on the top. So I can't make sure that the batteries haven't run out and it's still on. Well, the folks at TimesNine sent me this Fisk bag. Now it's pricey, but the key question is, can this duplicate the functions of those two components? Now a caveat here, if you're walking way back in the backwoods, you'll want to take more survival equipment in case of an accident than you could fit in any kind of a fish bag. Before we get into the individual features of the bag, let's look at how you wear it. It's unique in that it has both a shoulder strap and a waist strap. And the waist strap is the critical comfort component to this bag. Not only does it double as a safety strap for my waders, but once I adjust this, it moves the weight of the bag to my hips and off my shoulders. So I can walk around and be very comfortable all day long with just a little bit of a pressure up here on my shoulder. When I was wearing a day pack and the fishing vest, everything was up here on the shoulder, and that day pack was interfering with the access to the pockets of my fishing vest. I don't have that problem with this bag. Now, it's just a quick matter of popping open the top, and I can get at pretty much anything I want to get at just by reaching in here. So let's look at the bag itself and what it offers for the price you have to pay for it. The first thing to notice is that it's made out of very robust and abrasion resistant Cordura, and it's got magnetic connections instead of Velcro. Velcro is going to clog up with dirt and stuff over time, but these magnetic connections will be just fine forever. The next thing is to look at the zippers. They're basically sealed on top, and that's going to keep the crud from getting in here. It's got one large pocket right here that is easy to get to from the outside, as well as end pockets also with the magnetic connection on either end. On the inside, it's got basically two sections. It's got one right here, one there, and then there's a zipper section over here. According to the manufacturer, this bag can duplicate as an office bag as well, and there's plenty of room for laptops, notebooks, and things like that on the inside. It's also got a wool patch here to attach flies to, and again, you can see the nice magnetic connections. One of the other features is right here on the outside, it's got a rod tube. So when you're traveling, you could put your rod through here. One of the unique features of the bag is this workstation right here. It's got a heavy-duty magnet that you can attach, you can stick a fly to hold as you're working. In addition, it's got this clip right here that works in conjunction with this strap down here at the bottom. Let me show you how the workstation operates. You take the butt of your rod, put it in one of these straps down at the bottom of the bag, then take this clip and pop that right on the rod. And remember earlier I put a fly on this magnet? It's been hours. That fly's still there. This magnet is strong. It's got D-rings, one for the shoulder strap, another one here for the workstation, and it's got similar D-rings on the back. On the shoulder strap itself, it's got another D-ring that's handy for attaching a net to. The bag comes with another piece of strapping material that you can weave in between these two buckles on the waist strap to use as basically an accessory belt to attach anything you would want to slide into. Basically, I'm not using that. I'm just hooking things right to the bag itself or to the waist strap. But it's an option. So the way I like to use the bags, I've got these pencil boxes, and I've got various things in the pencil boxes, and I'll put those inside the bag to keep everything organized. I can put my lunch in here, put a bottle of water in there, anything else I want. In my case, I've got GoPro stuff I've got to worry about. All that stuff is going to be able to go in here just fine. So that's the bag. Now let's see how I feel about it after using it for a whole day here at White Top Laurel. And I think there are a few negatives that you need to know about that I've already identified, but we'll see if those are really negatives at the end of the day. I was really impressed by the way the waist strap kept the bag in place when I was sneaking around. There are a couple things you don't realize until after you've used a piece of gear. Most bags have the zippers pulling from the center to the sides, opening up the big middle. On this one, they come from the sides to the centers. And if you think about it, this makes a lot of sense. Because now, if you only want to get at something over on this side, you open up that zipper and this side is protected. So, that's a pretty cool design feature. Before I summarize my thoughts on this Fisk bag, I want to point out one more indication of the quality of the construction. You look at this carabiner right here and you think it's just a normal one, like this with the lever that goes up and down. But no, this is a brass screw. Screws on and off. So that's not going to come loose. Like this might if it bounces against something. I've used this thing straight for 2 days in some pretty rough areas. The first day I was bike fishing, and so it had the potential of moving around as I worked the bike, and then of course I had to work my way into the stream through thick rhododendrons and things like that. I've got to say that this thing held up fine, and with the waist strap snugged firmly tight, I didn't feel like I had a lot of stress on my shoulder. So when comparing it with a day pack and a fly fishing vest, I think that there's no comparison. I'd rather have the bag. Now this thing is a pricey bag and it does have some faults, and let me talk about those right here. This is the waist strap, and I think it needs to be able to be snugged up a little bit tighter. I'm not a skinny guy, and you can see that I've got it right here at the end to be able to get it around my waist. So I've got about a 35-inch waist. And then of course you got to add the depth of this on there. So if I had a recommendation for the manufacturer, I would shorten this loop so you could tighten it a little bit more. It only has the 2 compartments. There are no internal pockets other than this zipper right here, and when you're wearing it, you're not going to be able to get your paw into the zipper slot because the bag will be crushed up against your body. So it would have been nice to have a way to organize the contents on the inside a little bit smoother than getting a couple pencil boxes and using them to fill it up. I did see that there was plenty of room inside here for everything I wanted to carry with me on the 2 days that I used it. Okay, so now here's another nit, and I think a lot of manufacturers get this wrong. They default to connection straps that look like this with the curve. Well, what I'm going to want to do is hook something on there, and you can't really get the hook in there good with the curve. I would have much preferred to see a square right here instead of the oval. I don't understand what the oval buys us, and I know everybody does this. Additionally, in terms of being a pure fishing bag, I would have recommended that they put a strap right here with pockets that you could slide things onto, like your GPS or your radio or something like that, instead of having to dangle them off your belt. Two more points I forgot to make when I was up in the woods. The first one is actually pretty cool. You know, when you start to wade into deep water, you don't want your bag to get all wet. Well, this bag features this D-ring in the back, and you can use that to shorten the strap very quickly. Basically, I just take the hook on the bottom, run it into the D-ring, slide the hook up to the top of the hook, and then reattach it down here. Now my bag is at this height. Pop the belt back around for wading belt safety, and I'm ready to go. The other point is that if you really do like your fly vest, but don't like digging in the backpack, there's nothing to say that you can't wear the fly vest and the bag at the same time. Now you can get at the things you have in these pockets, but also use the bag to get at stuff that would normally be in your backpack. So there's two additional things I forgot to mention. The final point I'd like to make in terms of a recommendation for change, and I know this probably isn't possible if you're really going to use this in the office as well, but I would have preferred to see the foam patch, the fur patch on the outside where you could get to it. You had to open it up, stick your fly in there, and then negotiate to the magnets to close it down again. So I think that's it for the negatives. It's got a lot of positives. My bottom line is that I'm going to use this instead of my day pack and my fly vest when I'm only doing a short walk in maybe, a mile or two. But beyond that, I'm going to want to have the day pack with me. But even then, I like the idea of having the side bag because I can put more stuff in here than in the pockets of my fly vest. Now granted, this thing is pricey. They did give me this for free to evaluate, and you're going to have to make the decision yourself on whether you're willing to spend the cost, but it is a high quality bag. What do you guys think? Throw your comments down below.